ask your friends, those who have not yet joined the session, to join immediately, as I'm going to start in a while. So please ask your friends, if they have not joined the session yet, to join the session immediately. Okay, so this curriculum, this training is based on Android application development. As we all are fond of using Android mobile devices mostly, maybe among you people, few are there who are using iPhone. But maximum of the population, those who have joined the session today or attending this training, most of you are having Android device, Android cell phone, if I'm not wrong. So this training is based on the native Android application development that you are going to learn in this next 5 to 6 days. Before starting with the proper modules on Android application development, let me just state you in short what are the things you require. That is, over here in this training, you are going to learn how Android application has been developed by the developers across the world. What are the language supports are available over there? And apart from that, how you are going to develop the application, how you are going to make it available to your friends, to your family, as well as to your client. So what are the different processes of generating the file that we can install in our cell phone that we are going to learn? And to make this training interesting as well as an effective one, you are going to design a application, as well as you are going to develop the application by own. The application topic will be provided from my end. That application you need to develop and you need to send it out. So this application development training will be based on Android. Okay, so let's start first of all with the applications, with the softwares that you require to install in your system. So for installing those softwares, what are the links, what are the requirements, everything will be covered today. So let me discuss with you all related to those softwares in short, and then I'll be back to the introductory part of Android, the proper definitions of Android, and hence we'll be going to learn what is the basic need for developing the Android applications. So is my Sublime Text software is visible to you?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So your curriculum is, your training is based on Android application development. For that, what are the hardware support you require? The hardware support you require is basically an operating system you require, where you require either Windows, you should have Windows or Linux or Mac. You are instructed to have a minimum of 8 GB RAM. Minimum of 8 GB RAM. But of course, if you have more RAM, it will be effective for you. And the processor of minimum i3 11th generation or above. So this is the minimum hardware support that you require for learning this development program. And what are the softwares required? So the softwares that are required is, first of all, you require JDK, that is Java Development Kit. A version 8 or above. Apart from JDK, you require Android Studio. Android Studio is known as the official software where we can learn the Android programming. So for installing Android Studio, for installing JDK, what is the link that I'm going to provide you? And all these details I'm going to post in the WhatsApp group, so you can find out from there as well. And you can definitely have the recent versions of JDK. So I'm providing the link too. So I hope you people are meeting this criteria of the hardware support. Yes or no? Please confirm me.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anyone who is having 4 GB of RAM or lesser than 8 GB of RAM? I repeat, is there anyone who have 4 GB of RAM or lesser than 8 GB of RAM? Amrit Raj, okay. Anyone else? Gaurav Kumar, okay. Now, Gaurav, Amrit, Orghodeep, okay. So you guys, Akash also, fine. So you guys, I will recommend you guys, if possible, you can increase your RAM, or if not possible, you can use the thing in even in 4 GB of RAM, but your system is going to lag behind. So it will not work as smooth as per your requirement. And I strongly recommend you not to install any virtual device for those who are having 4 GB of RAM. Do not install virtual device if you are having 4 GB, lesser than 4 GB of RAM. So if you are having 4 GB of RAM, do not install this. All of you are all of you have joined from your system or from your mobile phone?
Ma'am, I'm joined from my laptop.
Laptop, okay. Those who have joined from the laptop, very good. Those who have not yet joined from the laptop, I will recommend you to join from your laptop so that it will be easier for you to conduct the class. And as you all are showing the interest for learning Android application development, so for that, I will ask you to start installing the softwares in your system if you do not have it. I repeat, install the softwares from the provided link if you do not have installed it yet. Because as you all know, these are 5-hour classes. So from the very first class, we are going to start with the development process. So how the development will be done, that I'm going to show you, and you require to take a note of it. Though the class is recorded, but I will ask you to follow the session as well as try to complete your task within your class duration. It will be easier for you to complete your assignments and the project which will be allotted to you. If you have any question related to this softwares or anything, please do ask me before proceeding further.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, you are audible.
Ma'am, when I tried to download the JDK file,
Okay.
it showed that 64 compressed archive, 64 installer. Which one do I need to install, ma'am, for Windows?
See, for Windows, you have the option for Windows operating system. Check
Yes,
it out in the site that I have provided.
yes,
You
ma'am.
have a section for Windows. You can directly click on the installer section to install the exe file, to download the exe file, and you can install through that. Or
Okay, ma'am. They are showing three options: compressed
yes,
archive, installer, and MSI installer.
yes, that is what I'm saying. You can directly click on installer to install the exe file of JDK, which you require to install it in your system.
Okay, ma'am.
And one thing everyone should remember, your softwares must be saved in C drive only. Do not install the softwares in any other drive. For saving the project, definitely I will recommend you to save your project in other drives other than C. But C is dedicated for the operating system and for installing the softwares. So do not install any software in other device, in other drive other than C. And after installing JDK, you need to set up the path also. So after installing JDK, everyone, please let me know. I will show you how to set up the path, so that those who are not compatible with the setup of setuping the path of Java, it will be easier for you to learn and understand. And in the meantime, you are installing the JDKs and Android Studio. Let me just ask you some basic questions, like which semester you are from. I can find CSC students are there. Any other branch students are there?
I'm here from CSE third semester.
CSC third sem. Okay. Others? Everyone
So
from
all are,
CSC?
ma'am, all are from third semester.
Achha, all are from third semester. Everyone of CSC department or any other
Yes,
department?
ma'am. CSC department.
Okay. So every one of you have learned Java before?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay. Achha. So what are the programming languages you have learned so far?
I'm C and C++.
C and C++. Okay. So that means all of you have a basic concepts of object-oriented programming, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm getting the voice from Niladri. What about the rest? Everyone have an not perfect or in detailed knowledge on object-oriented programming, but at least a basic knowledge. Everyone, I hope every one of you have on C++ and object-oriented programming language, as it was part of your curriculum. So over here, we are going to use Java as the programming language. And Java is known as purely object-oriented programming language. So what are the things, how we are going to use it? I'm going to explain you Java parallelly with Android so that it will be easier for you to understand and to carry out your project. And for your assistant purpose, I'm going to provide you a link. I will provide you the topics that you should learn related to Java, which will help you in your future for building up your career as well as to learn Java in a proper way. So I hope everyone of you have started downloading the softwares, and if the downloadation is completed, you are installing JDK right at the moment. Okay, ma'am, there are 3 files where while installing JDK from your link. One is zip, second is exe, and the third is MSI. Which one to install? Yes, Ognishwar, as I said, you can directly install the .exe file, download the .exe file, and then start installing JDK. Download the exe file and start.
Ma'am, Ma'am, ma'am,
Yes, hello. Am I audible to everyone now?
yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
okay. My
ma'am.
system got hanged, so that's why I need to restart the thing.
Ma'am,
Yes,
the JDK application is showing that it's installed, but it's not opening.
it's not opening. It will not open in that way. It is not going to open in that way. I'm going to explain you how it is going to open or how it's going to work. Let's install,
Okay.
right? So how many of you have completed installing the JDK? Just confirm me.
Ma'am, done.
Ma'am, done.
Okay, okay, okay. So maximum of you have done with it. So fine. So let me now share my entire screen so that you can check it out. Oh. So my screen is visible, right? The desktop is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So see everyone, in the C drive, if you open up your C drive, under program files, there is a folder created which is known as Java. And within this Java folder, you have your JDK, whichever the version of JDK you have it over there, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So maybe you have installed 18 or 17, this kind of JDK version. এখানে কিছু না, JIS 5 ঘন্টা। Just a second, wait. Please wait just a second, please wait. Okay, sorry for the interruption, everyone. So over here, just check it out. You must be having your JDK folder over here. So once you open your JDK folder, you are going to get a folder name as bin. Check it out. Are you having this folder or not?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So now open this folder and copy the path. Just select over here in the address bar. Select it, right click and make it copy. In this way. Select the entire thing, right click and then copy. Or you can use a shortcut key, that is Control C, to copy the entire address of your folder. Now, once you are done with this, now in your Windows, type out ENV. In your Windows, in the search bar, type out ENV. Check it out. Are you getting an edit environment variables for your account? The option is there.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Open this. Open this option. Once you open this option, you are going to get two sections. In the first section, you have user variables for users. And over there, you must be having a variable name as path, variable value. So variable name as path.
Ma'am, can you show it from the beginning, please?
Yes, again, I'm canceling this. Everyone open C drive. Within C drive, program files. Within C drive, program files. Open up program files. You must be getting Java folder. Open up Java folder. Within Java folder, your JDK folder is present. Open to click this JDK folder. Within this JDK, you have your bin folder. Open it. On opening the bin folder, you will get the entire path of the JDK bin. So you need to copy this path, this address of your bin folder, the entire location. So just right click and copy this location to add it for your project. Done up to here, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, after copying this path, click on Start. Click on Start. Type out ENV. Type out ENV in your search bar. ENV. You have the option for edit environment variables for your account. You have the option here, edit environment variables for your account. Open this. Open this. Once you open it, you will get the first section as user variables for user.
Ma'am, can you repeat after path? I missed it.
Path in the sense this path you are talking, or
Yes.
copying the path?
No. This path.
This path. Yes, I'm repeating that.
After means after edit, we open that environmental window. After that, what we need to do?
Yes. So you have this path variable. Just double click on it to open, or single click and click on edit. Either of the option you can choose. Now you have the option for new. Click on new and paste the address of your bin folder that you have copied from here. So once you add it, after adding it, click on OK. And then you will find that it will be added within the path folder. Just for verification, you can double click and you can just check it out whether it is added or not. Whichever JDK you have, whether it's 11, 8, 17, 18, that doesn't matter. You should have this added on your environment variable. After doing this, then you need to click on new over here. Under the user variables only, you have a new button. Click on new. Environment variable, Java _ home. Environment variable, type out by yourself, turn on your caps lock and type out Java _ home. After typing out Java _ home, in the value, paste the same thing. Just write.
And from where you will access a new user variable? I'm not able to get
This
that.
one,
Okay.
this one, new. Environment variable, within the environment variable, type out Java _ home. And in this variable value, just paste Ctrl+V or right click paste and paste this path. After pasting this path, this will, do not click on OK at the moment. After pasting this path, then just delete /bin, backspace /bin. So you need to get the access of your JDK path over here, where your Java, actual Java home is present. So if you are done up to this, then you can click on OK. I repeat, you must be having over here bin folder. Up to here, the path that we have copied is /bin. So you do not have to do it in this way. So this is not the original path where your actual Java is located. So just delete on /bin. Delete /bin. So this is the JDK path. Then click on OK to create this. Now you can find it out that Java home is added. Java home is added, right? Every one of you are getting this too? Just confirm me.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if it is done, that means if both this process is completed, now you can click on OK to finally save the operation. Now you can close the window of your C drive. You can close the window of your C drive. This is how you can set up the path of your variable. Any question at moment? Please, after copying the path, repeat. Do I need to show it again? Do I need to show it again, or every one of you have done?
Yes, ma'am. Please show.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm showing it again. I'm showing it again. You have your this PC. Open up this PC. You have your C drive. Open up C drive. Within the C drive, you have the program files. Please, everyone, mute your mic until and unless it's required. Please mute your mic. Until and unless it's required, please mute your mic. Now, over here within the program files, you have the folder named as Java. Open this Java folder. Open this Java folder, and within Java folder, you have the JDK. You have the JDK folder within Java folder. So you need to open up this JDK folder. After you open up the JDK folder, you are going to get the access of the bin folder, which you need to open up. Once you open up the bin folder, you are going to get many files and folder within here that which you don't require at moment directly. So what you need to do, you basically require the location of your bin folder. So click on the address bar to select the entire address, the place, the location of your bin folder. Copy it by right clicking or by pressing Ctrl C. After doing this, then you need to apply this location to your environment variable. Are you done up to here? Those who have not done previously, please confirm me. Are you done up to here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now you have the search bar. You have a search option. Type over here env. Type over here env. You will get the option for edit environment variables for your account. You will get the option for edit environment variables for your account. Open this. Open this. On opening it, on selecting that, you are going to get the access of this window. Here, you will get a variable name as path. It is already present. Path variable is already present. Just select it and click on edit, or you can double click on it to open a new window respect to the path variable. Now within this environment variable edit option, you are going to get an option for new. Just at the right hand side, new, edit, browse, different options are there. This is the very first option, new. Click on new. Paste the address of the bin folder that you have copied recently. After pasting it, then you can finally click on OK to apply this. You can click on OK to apply this. Already I have it, so I will not save it. So I'll just cancel this operation. But in your case, you need to add it and you need to click on OK. So the first step has been done. The path variable setup is done. Now the next step is to set up your Java home. So for setting up your Java home, you need to click on the new button available right at this position, at the middle position. Just click on new button. Within the variable name, type out in caps Java underscore, put underscore as symbol, do not type underscore. Java underscore home. And in the value, just paste the same thing. But here, a few modification is required. That is, After pasting this location, you need to delete up /bin. After pasting this location, you need to delete up /bin. And then you need to click on OK. And then you need to click on OK. So you will find both Java home and the path variable will be updated. Both Java home and the path variable will be updated. As I said, you mute your mic until and unless you require, otherwise you will be excluded from the meeting. Shubhodip Mojumdar, you can mute your mic or it will be excluded from the meeting. Again, I repeat, if anyone is there for disturbing, he or she will be excused from the meeting and will be blocked forever. So I hope you are done with this process. Everyone confirm me. Are you done with this process now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So finally, you can click on this OK button available at the bottom to close this window. This window also is no more required, so you can close this window. Now the path setup that you have made and the Java home setup that you have done, whether it has been done correctly or not, for verification, you need to open up your command prompt or your window PowerShell, either of the one. Those who are using Windows, you can open up window PowerShell, or you can open up command prompt. So type out CMD, or you can open up window PowerShell by typing of window PowerShell. Open it. And on opening, you must be getting a screen like this. You must be getting a screen like this on opening your window PowerShell. So over here, type out Java C. Type out Java C. On opening up of the window PowerShell, type out Java C and then press enter. So you will find whatever the possible operations that can be available through Java C, those options are showing right over here. That may be the versions, that may be the source path, the release date, each and everything. So this means that your Java setup has been done perfectly. So I hope every one of you are getting a screen and the options in this manner, like the way I'm getting at moment.
Yes, ma'am.
So it confirms that your Java setup has been done perfectly.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
now, done. Okay. So now you can close your PowerShell also. This is just for verification purpose, whether it is done or not. Okay, so now, I will discuss some of the basic things related to the Android now. So the first step of installing JDK, that is installing Java in your system, is been done. Now you can proceed on to the next step, that is installing Android Studio. So everyone start downloading Android Studio from the provided link and install it in your system.
The Android Studio Pro setup is not getting installed on my PC. I have 8 GB, but still it is not getting installed.
Have you installed Android Studio previously ever?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay. So in that case, Koina, what is the problem or what is the thing it's showing? What's the
Uh,
error showing?
In the check, there are two check boxes. One is for Android Studio and another for Android Virtual Device. I can click on the checkbox of Android Virtual Device, but not on the Android Studio one.
Oh, no. That means that, see, Android virtual device is an optional. As I've given you as a note, that those who are using 4 GB of RAM, they are recommended not to install the virtual device. Android Studio is by default available. So it's up to you if you want to, if you need or if you want to install virtual device, then you can check the checkbox provided there against the virtual device option, or you can uncheck it.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, and then in the bottom you will be getting a next or okay button, something like that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Now you can click on that to proceed further to the next step.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Ma'am,
So-
should I install this on C drive?
By default, it is going to install in C drive only. And as I said you previously also, always install your operating system and the softwares that you are going to use in your system only in C drive. And use the other drives for saving your projects and other supports.
All right, ma'am.
Okay. So in the meantime, you people are installing the things. Let me discuss some of the basic things related to Android that will help you to boost your knowledge on Android, as well as you can understand the things better. It will also help you for your interview purposes. So let me share my screen for the Android one. So I hope it's visible to everyone. I'm presenting my screen for the okay. So Android application development. So whenever we think of application development, basically Android, iOS, this kind of things, then the first things that come to our mind is what is mobile apps, or what is the requirement of mobile apps. That is what the first thing comes to our mind. So what, according to you, is the requirement of developing mobile apps, or the need behind mobile apps development? Anyone?
Providing service and facilities to a larger quantity of the general public, because many people might not have access to PCs and laptops.
Very good point. Okay. Others? What else? How you are going to define the thing?
Ma'am, they allow to handle information instantly and in real time.
Okay, that is another very good point. Okay, so no more. Only from Diksha and Ognishwar, if I'm not wrong, gave the first point. Anyone else? You might not be correct every time, but at least you can try out. No one else to try out. Okay, so let me continue. So basically, the need of mobile apps, if we talk about, then in that case, we can think about the mobile phone user and the system users, like PC or laptop user. Like the very first point that Ognishwar has mentioned already, that everyone do not have the access of PC or might not have the knowledge of how to access PC or uh, uh, laptops. So, but those people can easily understand, can easily manage up using the mobile phones. So the very first point is for those persons, especially those who are used to the mobile platform, but not the systems platform. So number of mobile phone users are comparatively higher than the desktops or laptop users. And here's the main point or the main need signifies. The next thing is app provide better personalization. We can customize our application. We can provide the setting of our applications, permissions we can provide to our application as per our requirement, as per our choice. It is not bounded to any apps that we need to provide all the accessibility of our device within it. Always we can customize our application based on our requirement, on our settings of our devices. The next highlighted point is that mobile application easily allows to access the device features. The device features in the sense the locations, the sensors, the different kinds of hardware supports like camera, like the torches, each and everything, the keypad, each and everything can be accessible easily through the applications. So we can use the device features easily from here. The mode, that is working in online, working in offline mode, is easier in case of mobile application. We can switch from one network to another network, or we can turn off the network if not required, and we will provide or we will get that all the applications running in our system are smooth if they are available in both the modes. Application always works faster as compared to websites, because mobile apps are dedicated softwares which contains that particular features, whereas the website you can find out are a domain, are a workspace where multiple domain addresses are present, and the domain address that you are looking forward need to find out among those thousands or hundred, and then it provides you the support to get that particular access of that website. So in this way, apps always works faster than website. So these are the different forms why we figure out or what is the need behind developing mobile applications. These are few of the terms or few of the points. There are many. I have just highlighted the main points that emphasize the requirement of developing mobile applications. Any questions, anyone at moment?
No, ma'am.
Okay. In the meantime, you people keep on downloading, keep on installing the Android Studio. And if you face any difficulty, just interrupt me and ask me the error or the problem you are facing. if you have any or if you face any. Moving on to the next slide. That is different kinds of mobile application. Nowadays, we know that we have different frameworks, different supportives, different processes through which apps can be developed. Same thing in case of mobiles also, we get different supports, different accessibility of installing or of creating mobile applications. So mobile applications are mainly categorized into two: native application and hybrid applications. Native applications are applications those are natively installed in your device, can be installed in your device and will work on that dedicated native operating system only. That is Android application development, Android program can work on Android operating system only. Like iOS can work on only on iOS device only. Similarly, we have the other form of mobile application development program, that is hybrid applications. Hybrid applications are those kind of applications which can be developed only once but can be get the accessibility in multiple platforms. That is, those are platform independent applications. So hybrid applications are platform independent applications, whereas native applications are platform dependent applications. Like Android applications are platform dependent, like iOS applications are platform dependent. So in this way, we can categorize different forms of mobile applications. So we are talking about mobile applications. So what actually mobile application is, or what is the mobile application development is? Basically, it's in simple terms, it's a process. It's a process of developing the software, such software which can run only on low-level devices like PDA, EDAs, mobile phone, smart watches, smart TVs, etc. So that means mobile devices in the sense the devices which have the mobility features, those devices require some softwares, and those softwares, the process of developing those softwares are basically mobile application development program. So here we are going to learn Android application development program. But before that, this is an informative slide where you can find out what are the different platform technologies and programming languages used as per the programs and technologies available in the market or was there in the market. Just go through it, everyone. If you have any question related to this slide, you can ask me accordingly. Raja Kumar, do you have any questions? If you have any questions, ask me. Unmute your mic, but do not entertain us by playing some music or any kind of media.
Ma'am, can I ask something about downloading the Virtual Studio, Android
Yes,
Studio?
yes, definitely. Before
Ma'am,
that, just a second, there is a question in the chat box. What's the difference between Windows Mobile and Windows Phone? Okay, so basically both are generally the same because initially Windows Mobile Phone was developed which uses C Sharp, Visual Basic, C and C++, which runs on Windows Phone only. We have a certain categories of phone which is Windows Phone, but before that there is a smaller version of Windows which was using C and C++, and those are basically trial kind of phones which targeted only for running on the Windows system only. But those systems, those mobile phones are not of that kind that was released in the market and was used by different users. So you can think about both are basically the same. Yes, who's that who is asking me the question related to Android virtual
ma'am.
device? Yes.
Ma'am, I was asking that after I downloaded the file, this
Yeah.
.exe file, it's asking me option of select components to install Android Studio and Android virtual device. Which one do I need to select?
Which one you need to select? Android virtual device and what else?
Android Studio.
Android Studio, by default, Android Studio will be selected.
Yes, ma'am.
You cannot modify it. But
Yes.
if you want a virtual device to run in your system, and if you have 8 GB or above, then
Yes, ma'am.
only I will recommend you to install the virtual device. Otherwise, you can uncheck the checkbox provided there.
No, it's okay. Okay, ma'am.
So I hope there is no more question related to the slide. Yes.
In Android Studio setup, here is showing that choose the type of setup you want to Android Studio, standard or custom.
Standard. Always use standard.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Hmm.
so I was asking that I have 16 GB RAM.
Okay.
And I also have VirtualBox.
Okay.
So what should I use? Android virtual device or normal?
Virtual box is something different. Virtual box is not same as virtual device. Here virtual device means the Android virtual device which will behave like your real device, but it will be present in your system only. Through Android Studio you can access that virtual device where you can test your application.
Okay,
Ma'am.
then I'm selecting Android virtual device.
Yes, you can select the Android virtual device to install it.
Thank you, ma'am. And ma'am, what about shortcuts? Like here it is said, select the start menu folder to create program shortcuts. Then options are like accessibility, BlueJ, BlueStacks, JDK,
Where you are getting these options?
Android Studio setup at that part.
Setup, but separately doesn't provide that kind of setup. Can you share your screen?
So I'm trying 1 minute.
Ma'am,
Yes.
I have 8 GB RAM and I checked on Android virtual device while installing, but after installing, when I'm opening Android Studio, it is showing that no virtual device is added.
Not
Yes,
an
ma'am.
issue. It
Can
will
you
be
see
shown
my
afterwards.
screen?
Yes, Devapriya, I can see your screen. Just wait a
So
second.
this part here. Should I just click on install?
just install a click on.
Yes, Devapriya, you don't have to make any changes over here. Just click on install to proceed further. Everything will be installed by default. That's a standard setups that you need to install in your device.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
And what about when I'm opening Android Studio, it is showing that no virtual device is added, but I checked on virtual device while installing the Android Studio.
That virtual device part, which is showing that Android virtual device has not been installed, but you have installed it, that part you are going to understand later, because once everyone will complete installing the Android Studio, then I'm going to show you how actually you are going to get the accessibility of virtual device.
Okay, ma'am.
Any more questions related to Android Studio installation?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, say.
Ma'am, while installing the next, it's asking import Android Studio settings. So do I need to import the settings, configure installation directionally, or do I just?
Do not import. Click on
Mhm.
do not import. Everyone, when you get this option, click on do not import.
Okay, ma'am.
After finishing the setup, we will just get the home screen, right? Where we will find
It
that.
will, like project, new project, those kind of things. Something.
Yeah, create new project, all that part.
Yes,
Yeah,
that particular screen you are going to get. Any more question at moment, or shall I proceed with the PPT? So I hope at moment no more questions are there. So let me proceed with the PPT section. So now, yes.
What about that standard or custom?
Standard, custom, standard, choose standard. Choose standard.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Now let us understand what's the need, or what is the reason behind the popularity of Android so much. So first of all, Android is an open source framework. Now, do you understand what is open source? I hope you have heard about this term before, open source.
Yes, ma'am.
So what is that, Gaurav? Will you explain a bit in your own words?
Yes, ma'am. I think open source is something that is open for all. We all can access it.
Okay, fine. So every one of you are used to or have heard about, learned about the term open source? Or do I need to explain it in short?
Ma'am, explain it in short.
Okay, fine, not an issue. So basically, open source means that each and every software that we use are using some codes, some section of programs, some codes. Those programs, those codes are accessible to everyone, are open to for everyone. Everyone in the sense, any developer from any corner can access to that section of code. Similarly, Android also is an open source operating system which have certain section of code which is accessible to everyone. And that's the reason From different corners of the world, different developers are providing some input for making Android operating system much better and developed one as compared to its previous versions. So larger community and larger development reach is the main point behind this open source. The increased marketing, like since it has a different variety of operating system versions available, so different mobile phones uses different Android versions, and based on those versions, those are cheaper and accessible by different category of people. In this way, the marketing strategies of Android are much better and effective as compared to the other ones. It provides us the inter-app integration facilities also. That means one application can interact with another application if present in the same device. So inter-app integration process is supportive by Android. Reduced cost of development. Android provide us to develop the application in such a way that in a minimum amount of costing, we can develop the Android application and we can make it available for our client. For these reasons, the success ratio of Android is basically higher than compared to the other frameworks, other native frameworks. And as a whole, it provides us to the developer an environment which is rich in the development tools and components, using which we can develop an Android application smooth that can run on any of the versions of Android that is being used by different users. From this, if any of you have any question, you can ask me. Why Android is better than other frameworks? Okay, Android is better than other native frameworks because Android is an open source operating system. Since it's an open source operating system, the development environment of Android is filled up with rich tools and components that helps the Android developers to develop the application with an ease. And other than that, since it's an open source environment, so certain amount of developers other than outside, even outside the organization of Android, are working for betterment of Android. Their valuable inputs are providing to the Android for making Android much better than its previous version to get the modernized effect and the framework's reactive UI with and designing tools, easy of the task, and implementing the business logics all across the thing, make it cheaper for the developer for developing the application. At the same time, the user or the client who are interested to purchase Android based mobile devices can get the device in a cheaper cost. That's the reason why, in a way, it is better than other native frameworks.
Ma'am, Android is open source, then anyone can access the Android very easily.
Yes.
So, ma'am, it's quite risky for us.
Risky for us in the sense, see, anyone can access the code easily, but that doesn't mean anyone can change the code at any moment. For them, for that accessibility means it is like a read-only purpose, not write. Open source in the sense it's open for reading purpose. For writing, to get the writing permission, for that you need to consult with the organization. If they approve you to make a write-up for them, then only you can get the right permission to modify the codes.
Okay, ma'am.
Any other question? I guess no at the moment. So we should proceed to the next. Now, the definition of Android. As we learned from our previous slide, that it's an open source operating system. Every one of you have heard about Linux operating system as well. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So Linux operating system is considered comparatively secured than compared to Windows 1. And this security features and the supports are used by Android as well. So Android is an open source Linux-based operating system, which is particularly designed for mobile devices. And for maintaining this Android operating system, to maintain its standard, its security, rules and regulations, the objectives and each and everything that will be controlled, that will be maintained by different companies, those who are selling Android product are maintained by Open Handset Alliance. So though we say, or though we find that Google announces the recent version of Android, Google announces or Google have developed these things for Android or something like that, but Google is not the actual owner of Android. The Android is maintained by a consortium known as Open Handset Alliance. That consortium is mainly led by Google and other companies. So since the main leader of this Open Handset Alliance is Google, that's why we get all the newsletters related to Android from the Google end only. The main developer, if we talk about them, then they are Andy Rubin, Rich Minar, Nick Schreers, and Chris White. These are the 4 developers who have developed Android operating system and made it available to all the world. And also it provides a platform for the developers so that they can develop Android applications, Android softwares that can run on Android devices. Now let us discuss in short about its history. Like, it's an Open Handset Alliance, which is owned by Google, as we all have learned, but actual organizations of Android is Android Incorporation. Google has acquired this Android Incorporation organization in the year of 2005. And for betterment of Android, Google, with partnership with some other leading companies, formulate OHA. The full form is Open Handset Alliance. Then OHA thought about making this Android as open source software and giving the accessibility to different members. So in this way, we find that Android operating system so in this way, we find that different companies are associated behind the development of Android, and it has been maintained by them. So Open Handset Alliance currently having 84 plus members in the sense organizations, companies, which are part of Open Handset Alliance, and all those companies either sells Android based product or set up the rules and regulations that will be maintained by the Android users and the Android developers. Now, as an application, especially for the developers, we are interested on how Android framework is going to help us. So Android framework is containing the Android SDK, software development kit. And through this Android SDK support, when we use the programming languages like Java or Kotlin, we can develop an application. That particular application can be sell out through the different app stores available like Google Play Store, Amazon App Stores, and different others app stores that sells Android based product. So these are the way how as an application to the developer, Android is effective and useful. Now the different features of Android. As you people can figure out the features, there are innumerable features for Android. But among those, these are some of the features which I have highlighted in this slide, which is much more effective. And the reason for having such a huge number of Android users is based on these features. The first features is, of course, the user interface. The user interface is easier and familiar for all categories of people using Android devices. With the different connectivity supports like Wi-Fi, maybe network connectivity, maybe Bluetooth connectivity or IR. Whatever the connectivity supports we require, we get those supports easily through the Android features. Then the storage. We have these storage connections. We get inbuilt storage support with an expandable storage support nowadays in the recent mobile devices. Different kinds of medias are running in the system, and we can run those medias easily in our system. And we can even split our screens to get the accessibility of different medias running concurrently. The messaging apps, the web browsers, multitasking effect, all these things plays a vital role for using the Android devices. Because for using the web browser, for searching something in the web, which you are not getting through the apps, you can think about accessing web browser directly from your mobile device only. So these are the different ways how the features of Android is been portrayed, and we are getting those things effective with the help of multi-language support as well as the resizable visits, in the sense the shortcuts. Any question, anyone? Yes, of course. The connectivity over here means that the connections like Wi-Fi connections, like the Bluetooth connections, like the mobile data connections, and some other connections like infrared connections that was previously supported, sensors connectivity, different kinds of connectivity supports are present within our device only. For that, for accessing those connectivity supports, we don't require external devices to be connected or something to get those supports, or to connect external hardwares or something. Each and every connectivity supports are provided within, are embedded within our mobile devices. So, and like if I think about Wi-Fi and mobile data connections, if you have turned on both the supports, like Wi-Fi supports as well as mobile data support, you will find that if you are into an Wi-Fi zone, your mobile data will be suppressed by the Wi-Fi. That means Wi-Fi support you are going to get in a better way than the mobile data. So in this way, the shuffling of the network, whichever strong at any moment, that particular access you are going to get. So different features in this way are portrayed over here, through which you can get the supports, you can highlight the features, the essence or the requirement, the like and dislike of the people through this features and the accessibility of Android device as a whole along with the application. Okay, so any more question? Any more question related to Android Studio? Anyone facing any difficulty in installing Android Studio?
Yes, ma'am. After installing everything being done, a new project and all that came.
Hmm.
I closed it, but after that I cannot find the app. And again, when I searching from the recent files, it's showing reinstall and all that stuff.
No, that means you are actually reinstalling the thing. Just cancel it. I'll be showing you how you're going to get the Android Studio.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Ma'am, what is HAXM?
Fine.
It is
So
showing. Hello, ma'am.
HAM. Yes,
HAXM.
HAM. HAXM, Hamex.
Yes, ma'am. It is
Yeah,
showing that it is
if
not
you are
installed.
using, yes, if you are using Intel processor in your device, then HAXM is required. Then HAXM, installing HAXM is required. Otherwise, you are not going to get the support of running your virtual device. So
Ma'am, it is
from
showing it
where
is
you
not
are going to
installed.
get the support? Sorry, Gaurav, repeat once again.
Ma'am, it is showing it is not installed successfully. You have to go to GitHub site, something like that.
Okay, it's showing that issue. You're having Intel processor.
Yes, ma'am.
Acha. Mm,
I had the same issue, but when I open the app, it's working properly, I guess.
okay, fine. So fine, I'll be sharing my screen. I'll be showing you the things, the supportives that you required. I hope through that you can overcome that issue, Gaurav and rest, those who will face or facing this kind of issue. That all the Intel users. Okay, now let me proceed to the next. Now, Android versions. Let me ask you the questions. How many of you are aware of all the names of Android versions released till date? How many versions has released? Number? If not the name,
Uh,
it is the number. Yeah.
Ma'am, 13,
12.
I mean, 13 has not released officially yet. It's a beta version available right now.
Okay. So total 13
Yes,
released. Okay. Okay. Anurag 12. Okay. Okay. So in that case, can you say me which is the name of the version that is lastly released? The name of the version. The name of the version that is released lastly. Yes, Gaurav?
Ma'am, the name was Oreo.
Ma'am,
Oreo.
snow cone.
Snow cone. Acha. Okay. Android 12. Okay.
Actually, the name given to last is Windows 8. Sorry, Android 8, and after that it is only numbers, I think.
Acha. Okay.
Yeah, the Android 13 is named Tiramisu.
Okay. It wasn't given any particular name. Android 12. Okay, fine. So let's check it out. Let's check it out. Acha, before checking it out, one more question. Do you know, do anyone know, have any idea about the first version of Android released for the world, for all the users? The name of the first version of Android available to all the users? The name.
Ma'am, can you please repeat?
Yes, the name of the first version of Android which was available for all the users.
Ma'am, it's Android 1, man, Android Alpha.
Android Alpha, acha. But if a question mark after giving the name. Okay. Fine. Okay. So let's check it out. Okay. So now just check the list of Android versions released till date. Over here, I haven't given the Android 13 because it's available in the beta version. The complete version of Android 13 is not yet been launched. So over here, I'm not providing you that particular version name. Other than that, you can find out all the versions. Now the question, according to the question which I have asked you, the very first version which was released available to all the users was Cupcake. Alpha and beta version was released to certain amount of users, not to all the users. But for the entire world, the first version which was officially released was Cupcake. Okay, I'm clear. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Now-
isn't Android 12 called Snow Cone?
Android 12 is Snow Cone. Yes. Android 12 is Snow Cone. So it's the first two version doesn't have any such names, basically known as alpha and beta versions. And then onwards, we get the names in alphabetical order, basically depending on the dessert's name. So Cupcake, Donut, Oreo, and so on, we used to get. Android Q, which was Android 10, Android R, that is Android 11, and then Android 12, which is Android S, the Snow Cone, which was released in the last year. And in this year, Android 13 is supposed to be released in September, probably. That is what Tirasumi, something like that, the name. So now, why the reason of showing this slide? Because for a developer, the much more interesting and the required thing is the last one, this column, that is API level column. This API level, you can find out basically some numbers are associated with each and every versions that is been released till date. And this version numbers actually, or this API number, the API level actually help an application to connect with the operating system. whether the app that you are developing is adaptive to that particular operating system or not will be dependent on your API number, API level uses. How this is going to help us, where exactly we are going to configure this, that I'm going to explain you in a while once I start developing the application. Okay, just take a look of each and every versions, the number and the API level. This is a required slide almost for everyone, for each and every developer, to get the idea about the different API level available at moment against the versions. Shall I proceed to the next?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now the architecture of Android. We follow the architecture currently, which is named as ART architecture. ART architecture. This architecture is basically been followed, and the full form of ART is Android Runtime. Android Runtime is the architecture, is the full form of ART, which has been followed currently by each and every versions of Android. But previously, another architecture was been followed, which is named as DVM architecture, also known as 5-stack architecture, where the countdown starts with from here 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So these are the different stacks. These are the different levels of the architecture, where we find different different layers having different set of driver softwares, different libraries, and the availability of the virtual devices, runtime environment, frameworks, and the application that we install. So over here, the very first thing that we get over here is the Linux kernel. As we have learned that Linux is the operating system which is being used as a base of the Android operating system. So Linux kernel is been found. Within this kernel part, we get all the hardware related drivers, power management supports available over here. Above that, we get that library section. The libraries, different kinds of libraries are available in the sections. Different apps, different drivers are using these libraries that run, that used to be executed by our applications. We have to run our applications. For that, we require some code libraries written in C, C++, Java languages. And this code libraries, along with the Dalvik Virtual Machine, DVM in short, allow to provide the environment where Android application can run. For developing the applications, we require the frameworks, and the frameworks contains different kinds of managers, content providers, view systems. Those are taking care of different supports related to our applications. Finally, we develop our application, we install it in our device, and it is made available in the application layer.
Ma'am,
Yes.
what is meant by kernel?
Kernel is basically the core of the operating system.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Shall I proceed to the next architecture? So as I said you previously that nowadays, means apart from Java, we use Kotlin also. And the recent versions of Java have some different supports and all. So the architecture which is currently being followed by each and every versions of Android is basically ART architecture. This architecture is much more organized than the previous one which I have just discussed, and you can find out over here the runtime environment. This part, there is a change, major change. That is, DVM has been replaced by ART. Why? DVM have some drawbacks. Drawbacks in the sense DVM doesn't uses the JIT compilation support, that is just-in-time compilation support. As well as if your app size is huge enough, it basically lags. So for that reason, for providing a better environment support for a good execution of your tasks, the business logics, and the files that you are having for compiling and then interpreting instantly to provide a sync with these softwares like Gradle, Manifest, and all, ART works better. Because over here, the management of heap, that the space, the extra space that is required for your application to execute, the application that requires the JIT, just-in-time compilation support, those kinds of supports are basically provided by ART, was not present in case of DVM. So these are the different reasons why ART is being used nowadays by our Android devices. Other than that, if you just go through the architectures, each and every layers are almost the same. And additional things over here been added is the hardware abstraction layer, which is known as HAL. This hardwares basically which is present in any of the devices get a direct connection from the kernel. So they are interacting directly through the kernel, and these hardwares are used up by the different apps and the frameworks that is being used by our applications. So this is the ART architecture. From the version of Android L, this particular architecture is being followed. DVM architecture is not followed anymore. Any question anymore? No more questions, I guess. So everyone has complete installing Android Studio.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's now start with the Android Studio. I'm sharing my entire system again. Everyone, check it out how you are going to open Android Studio once it has been installed in your system. So move on to your start option, the window symbol or the start option. Click over here and you will get Android Studio over here. Are you getting Android Studio?
Ma'am, it's showing only as a application.
As an application, Asha.
Yes, ma'am. When I'm searching on start, it is popping up. When I'm searching on start, the app is popping up, and I can
We
directly
can
open it
just
from
open
there.
the app, right? Means,
Yes, you need to open
already
the app. Do not click on the installer file again. Otherwise, it will start installing again. So you need to just open up this app, which is Android Studio, and the symbol is something like this. The icon is something like this. So open it up. You can even make a shortcut in your desktop or in the task manager or somewhere, or in the startup menu also, for your easy access.
and after that,
The current version is Chipmunk, that you can find it out is opening in my screen. And maybe you must be getting a screen like this, an empty one. Let me just clear out my screen. So something like this, right? You have an option for new project.
Ma'am, it is showing
Yes, ma'am.
new project, open, and get from VCS. These three things.
Yes. Yes, okay. So you are having this new project option. You need to click on new project. Once you click on new project, you are going to get the access of different templates and some inbuilt UI template, that is user interface templates. So from here, if you scroll down, you will find an activity template, which is empty activity template is by default been selected. Just scroll down and check it out. Empty,
Yes, ma'am.
right?
yes,
So-
ma'am.
Okay, so click on it and then you have a next button right at the bottom. You need to click on the next button. Once you click on the next button, it will open up a screen where you need to provide the details of your applications. Now, as I was saying you in the starting of the class, that always install the softwares, the operating system in the C drive, and your project and related programming stuff should be saved in other drive if available in your system. So first of all, do one thing, click on the browse option and then select a drive where you are going to show your project. Like in my case, I always use other drive than C drive, that is E drive in my case currently. And within E drive, you are going to get a folder. Means in my case, you can find a folder. So I will recommend you, in your case, you are not having a folder. Other than C drive, choose a drive where you are going to save your project, but do not directly save your project within the folder. Rather than that, you have an option for new folder. So select your drive, click on new folder, give a folder name, and then select that folder. So this particular folder, which I have named as Android project, this folder will contain your project. So complete the step up to here. Select your drive, create a new folder, name it as Android project or Android Studio project. After creating that folder, select it.
Ma'am, separately you have made a folder which is named as E. Then again we have to make a new folder.
E is a drive, not a folder.
Okay,
E
drive.
is
Yeah.
a drive. Yeah.
No, we can save this folder on C drive, right? Which we
You
have.
can create a folder in C drive, but as I was saying, C drive is basically dedicated for your operating system and the softwares. So if you save each and every project and the thing in the C drive, your system used to get slowed down, and it's been completely filled, occupied with the spaces of your project only. So rather than saving the files and folder within the C drive, other than softwares and operating system, you should choose any other drive if available. In case if you have only C drive, then definitely you have to create a folder within C drive to save your project. Okay. I guess there's some questions. Let me just check it out. Repeat the process again. Yes, definitely I'm repeating the process again. I'm canceling it. This is the Android Studio. How to find out Android Studio? Open up Start. You will get Android Studio option, the app, the application. Select that Android Studio, and once the Chipmunk version of Android Studio opens up, you are going to get a screen like this, the one which I'm getting at moment. Here you have a button known as New Project. Select that New Project option. After selecting New Project option, you will get a template that is Home and Tablet. Select it, or by default it is only selected. Then scroll down, you will find Empty Activity is highlighted. Select Empty Activity, click on Next. You are going to get this window. Before naming your application or proceeding further, you should choose the location where you are going to save your project. So for that, click on Browse. Click on Browse, choose a directory, choose a drive other than C drive if available in your system to save your project. So choose that drive. Within that drive, create a new folder, name it as Android Projects, and then click on OK. Once you create the folder, you are going to get a folder like the way it's showing in my screen. So up to here, everyone done?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now on selecting the folder, you can click on OK. You will find that the save location is showing E drive. In my case, it's showing E drive Android Studio. But if you are choosing D, E, F, whatever, accordingly, or C, you are going to get that save location. Now I'm going to name the project. So the project name I'm going to give as, this is an Android JS batch 1. So I'm giving the batch project name as JS Android Learning. So I'm giving the project name as JS underscore Android Learning. You can give only Android Learning. You can give only Android Learning. For my better understanding, since I work with different projects and all, so I have just added this JS underscore. But in your case, you can just give Android Learning. Now, once you write up the name, you will find that the package name is changing accordingly, is updating accordingly. Isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. But here
Yes,
it is
yes.
showing com.example.
Com.example.
Ma'am, here you have com.developer. In my screen is coming com.example.
Yes, let me now say. By default, every one of you will get the default package name as com.example. Then whatever the project name you are giving, that particular name will appear. But in my case, as I used to develop the application that is loaded in the Play Store and all, that's why I used to change the package name. So this is the default package under which I work, and that is why it is coming like this. In your case, if you are getting com.example something, that's okay, perfectly fine. There is not an issue. You can proceed from there. But if you want to change the package name, you can do it. There is no hard and fast rule that you cannot change the package name. But one thing to be remembered, that the package name must be like a reverse of the domain name. Like, for instance, let me give a package name as com.jis, something like this. Let me give a package name like this. Then jis.com, so dot Android Learning, whatever the project name. So in this way, maybe the package name I want to give. So it will appear in this manner.
So ma'am, will we keep it as example only?
You can keep, or you can change it like this, like the way I have changed it.
That's up to us.
Okay.
It's not an issue, right?
Yes, up to you, it's not an issue. But for the Play Store, if you think of developing an application that you are going to upload in Play Store, then in that case, you should always remember to change the package name. Because Play Store will not allow you to access com.example.something package name. That is obsoleted by the Play Store. So you should give your domain address. Means the organization name or something under which you are developing. Okay, clear everyone? Shall I proceed then? Any question? Anyone? Let me check the chat box. No, there is no questions in the chat box. Okay. Now see, save location is showing like E:\Android Studio. Here we should also give JS Android Learning. So in this way, I'm going to give the name. Okay. Now the next, the language. Select the language as Java. By default, maybe Kotlin is there. Change it to Java.
Ma'am, while writing the address in the save location, if you have given a space between Android and Learning, you have space there also.
Sorry?
Ma'am, if you have given a space between the two words Android and Learning, so while writing it in the save location, will we give a space there also? That is
Yes, because the location doesn't allow us to give any white space in between. It is restricted. So you should not give any space in between. So that's why I'm using the Pascal case format to provide a name to it.
Language should be Java.
Language chooses Java. Because we are going to use Java. Now the next, I hope you remember that I was saying about the API level is very, very important for the developers. So through the API only, we connect our application to the operating system where it will be running. So here, minimum SDK, you should choose accordingly over here. Up to here, you can see in my system it's showing as Android 33, Android APA, Tiramisu, Privacy Sandbox. Those options are available. Every SDKs are available here. So here we should choose such an SDK which will be used as the minimum SDK version. That means from this SDK onwards, from this version onwards, the users can use the application. Any users from this starting SDK version can use your application, can download, install the application in their mobile phone and can use it. So it is dependent on your API level. Don't choose any of the higher version over here. Then it will not be accessible to your users. It will be accessible only to the limited amount of users, those who are having this version. So always choose such a version that will be accessible to maximum of the users. Now click on finish.
Ma'am,
Finally,
we'll choose 21, right?
yeah, I have chosen 21. You can choose more than that, like marshmallow, nougat, something like that also.
Now,
Or
what
you
about the
can
checkbox?
your-
Use legacy Android.support libraries.
Yeah, that is the older versions, the legacy versions of Android. If you are going to use, then you can get that support. But I'm not going to use any older supports or something like that. That's why I'm not. I haven't checked that checkbox.
Ma'am, you have
Okay.
chosen Android
21.
API 21, right?
Yes, 21. So once you click on
Then
finish, yes.
no, okay.
Once you click on finish, you might get some installing part might takes place in your system because you people are installing Android Studio for the first time. So you might get some additive installations, things are going on, some dependencies, SDK setups are going on. And then you are going to get a screen like this.
Yes, ma'am.
Right now in the bottom section you will find some loading, some loaders are running, which is showing us Gradle, build Gradle, installing something, those kind of things. So let
Yes.
us complete this part. Until and unless the setups is completed completely, you cannot proceed further, or rather you should not proceed further. Your application will linger. If anyone facing any difficulty or anything, you can ask me. After completion of this steps, once the installing and all those supportives, which is configuration, which is loading currently in your screen, once it's complete, let me know so that I can show you, I can discuss related to the project that we have created.
Ma'am, it is showing that the Windows Defender firewall has blocked some features.
Allow it. Allow that features.
Ma'am, here in your workspace, the projects you have already created. So we have to select any under Android. We have to select any project or any box, like to make something or create something.
Where? In my case, you are saying?
Yeah, means like in the app
No.
portion in the workspace,
Hmm.
those are already created. So we have to name anything under that, like to make a new project.
The template, are you talking about those templates like empty activity, those things?
Yeah.
Yeah, over there you need to select empty activity. Phone and tablet, then select empty activity. Then you will going to get those screen that you need to give the name and all those locations, those things. Yes, Akash.
Ma'am, what is the highest version? Can I access it as API, which is also accessible?
Which one? The 32 33?
Actually, ma'am, accessible. You say that it's not accessible if I choose higher than 33 or 107. Then why? What can I choose?
See, the thing is that as a developer, when we develop the application, we are not sure that what will be the version of Android running in the mobile phone of our targeted users. Different users are using different mobile phones, and different versions of mobile Android are running on those phones. So we should not use the higher version or most recent versions of Android. Otherwise, it will be like a restriction to the users. So you should choose such a version of Android so that you can target maximum of user to use your application with ease. So the minimum version in my case that I've chosen is 21, API 21. And the maximum will be the 32 or rather 33 version. So accordingly, it will be available.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Hmm?
is there any benefit of using higher Android version?
In your real device?
No, ma'am. In developing the Android versions, because there are so many apps which are not available in Android 5, Android 6.
Yes, because as I was saying you about discussing and related to the architectures, that DVM architecture was followed previously, then the ART architecture has been replaced because the latest designing tools like material designing, those which we uses nowadays, doesn't get the support in the older versions of Android. So that's the reason why we choose such a version of Android, because some architectural changes are there. At the same time, the changes in the libraries, the tools of Android has been changed a lot. So to get the updated features in your device, you should choose such a language which is updated and is easy to code, easy to access. So maybe in the older versions of Android, you might get that this app is no more available, because the update which is taken place is based on the recent versions, not on the older version. The older version cannot support that particular feature. So in that case, yes, definitely it is beneficial to choose the updated version, but that updated version doesn't mean the one which is recently been available in the market. At least which is there for the last 3-4 years, you should choose such a version.
Ma'am, in this case where I was downloading and you told this page will open, so it's coming, but in the left side that app, com.js, Android learning, main activity, all that part is not coming.
This part is not coming. Your loading has been done.
No, it's still loading.
It's still loading. No, once the loading will complete, then you will get the file structure.
Okay, ma'am. Is it downloading something in the background? Maybe, I guess.
Yes, it is setting up your project, downloading each and everything that is required for your application.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Thank you.
As you are doing it for the first time, so that's why it is taking so much time.
Okay, ma'am.
It is still showing Gradle project sync in progress.
Syncing in progress. Yes, okay. let it okay, let it be going on. Otherwise, you will not get the support to access to make some modification in your project.
Ma'am,
First
it's
time
completed, I think, in my computer.
Acha, your computer, it's done. Okay. So first time you people are using Android Studio, you people are creating the Android project. So the downloadation, some supportives used to take place. And that's the reason the recent SDKs and all, it will be downloading. It will take a bit of time. In the meantime, if people are getting those things, I just discuss one thing which you can do it later on. That is how to get the virtual device access. I guess Neeladri or someone was asking me, ma'am, virtual device is installed, but it's not showing. How you can get the access of virtual device? See, at the right corner in my screen, like this, you must be getting an option known as device manager. So if you open up the device manager, you will get two options. One is virtual, another one is physical. So in the virtual device, when you need to create a virtual device, you need to click on the create device button. So clicking on the create device button, you will get a window will open up. And here the list of mobile phones are available, like Pixel.
Can you please repeat where the device manager is?
Yes, I'm repeating once again. At the top, from the right corners, the fourth option. This one, like mobile phone, like symbol icon, and then the Android
Yes,
icon.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That is the device manager. And this one again, those who are using lower than 8 GB of RAM, do not proceed to this step. I'll show you how you can run your device in your real, test your application in your real device. You can check out that. But those who are using 8 GB or above, you can install the virtual device by this process. So over here, you have an option for create device. Click on the create device. This kind of window will be available to you. Here, the list of mobile phones are available. So from this list, you can choose one. You can click on.
Show this again? I am having some problem.
Okay, I'm showing again. Over here in the device manager, this is the device manager at the top. The mobile and the Android icon symboled one. This is the device manager. Once you click on the device manager, you will get the virtual option where create device button is available. Click on the create device button. But those who are getting that process going on still, do not carry out this process at moment. Just keep a note of it. After the process is completed, then you can proceed with this following process which I'm showing you. So over here, click on the create device. You will get the accessibility of the list of mobile phones. From this list of mobile phones, you will get the option for choosing the mobile phone. You can select a mobile phone, like maybe Pixel 4.
Ma'am, we can choose any mobile phone.
Yes, any mobile phone you can choose. Choose a mobile phone, then click on next. Once you click on next,
Then what is the Play Store symbol while choosing the mobile phone?
Play Store symbol, the mobile phone which is having the Play Store symbol, that means the Play Store features is already available within that. You don't need to install Play Store separately.
Okay.
So it's advisable to choose such a mobile phone which is having the Play Store symbol. But if you choose other, it's not a big deal. It will not affect you a lot. You can even test your application with these. So click on next. Then it
How
will
to fix
recommend
this window?
which
Ma'am,
window here.
Ma'am, this select hardware, this window.
By clicking on the device manager, click on the create device button.
I can't find this create
Acha,
device.
I'm showing you once again. I'm canceling the process. Everyone check it out properly. See at the top, this mobile phone and Android icon one. This is the device manager. If you just take your cursor over there, you will get the name. Once you hover, you will get the name, that is device manager. Click on it. In the virtual section, you will get the option for create device. Click on it. Then you are going to get select hardware option. This
Ma'am,
window.
no device manager, then virtual.
Yes,
Or create
virtual,
device.
then create device.
Okay. Ma'am.
Ma'am,
Then
what is the resizable in this case?
resizable one in the sense a mobile phone which you can change, which you can resize as per your requirement.
Okay. ma'am.
Okay, so now click on next. On selecting the device, you can choose a recommended version. Now you can choose even the API 33 version also, that is Tiramisu, the recent version that will be available. So you will get the beta version accessibility from here.
Ma'am,
You can choose
in this, in the right hand side, there is a recommendation box that's written that HAXM is not installed.
Hamex is not installed. Okay.
Yeah, it's not
So
installed.
in that case, below that you have a link also to install the Hamex. Install.
There's a written that install HAXM. So I have to
Yes.
install it.
Yes, but if you are having, I guess you are having Intel processor. You are using Intel processor.
Yes, I'm having Intel Core i5. Yes.
Yes, that's the reason it is asking for HAXM. One more thing. Okay, before discussing this one, let me show you one thing. Like those who are using AMD processor and those who are using Intel processor, for them the separate installation process need to carry out. So once you click on file, you will get the option for settings. If you click on settings, you are going to get the option for editor. For language tools. Wait, just a second. Let me just find out where the option is. Yeah, system settings within appearance and behavior, you must be getting system settings. So expand system settings and you are going to get an option over there that is Android SDK. Once you open up the Android SDK, you will get 3 tabs over here. SDK platform, where the SDKs are showing that are installed in your system. Another is SDK tools, and the third one is SDK update sites. So from the SDK tools, you can select.
Ma'am, can you repeat after system settings?
system settings. Then within that, once you expand it, you will get Android SDK. Android SDK.
Ma'am, what about that part where we did this thing, system image, SV2 download, that part? Android
Yes,
API.
to download that one, I'm also saying you, because you require the hammocks and those things. So that's why additionally I'm showing you this thing, because until and unless
Close that part.
you can close that part, but is it showing you that hammocks installation or something is required in your system? Like it was showing for Diksha or someone else.
Ma'am, yeah,
No,
many
it
of
was not
it
yet
is showing
shown.
for us because we are having Intel CPU. That's why.
Yes, those who are having Intel, they are only going to get that thing. Otherwise, you can check it out like over here, Haxem installer, AMD processor, driver, those things are present. So if you are using Android emulator, then you need that supportive installer in your system. Other than that, it will not run.
And for AMD, what do we need to do?
AMD, you have the AMD processor one. Under SDK tools, you have Android emulator hyper version driver for AMD processor installer. You need to check it and you need to download it.
And ma'am, the Tiramisu Privacy Sandbox preview, I don't have that installed. Should I
Not an
install
issue.
it?
No, it's not required.
And then for Haxam, what we need to install it from here?
So we are installing that SDK component installer, and nothing else right now for AMD. Right.
AMD for the AMD processor and Haxem for the Intel processor. If you scroll down, you will get the option. But
Then
do not
for AMD, we are
install-
just directly downloading that SDK component installer.
If you are AMD processor, then AMD processor. Otherwise, Haxem.
Okay, ma'am.
And
Thank you.
ma'am, then
When
we
it
click
was-
on OK.
Same.
Ma'am, when you are showing that it's not installed on my laptop, that Haxem, I install the Haxem, then it will work.
Other than that, emulator also required that from the BIOS, you need to turn on the virtualization technology, VT. You need to turn on that. Then only your emulator will be available. So you are going to get the break. So once you restart your system, just get into your BIOS, turn on the VT.
No, ma'am, I have installed the Haxem. So I installed the
Can
Haxem.
I share my screen? I have to can't
You have
extend
some
the-
confusion. Okay, share it.
After clicking on the required checkboxes, will we click on OK?
Yes, click on OK. Who's that? Who is presenting right now? Diksha. Diksha, select on next. Hello, Diksha.
Ma'am, it's still showing loading under Android.
Oh, I guess your system is not, your network is not so good enough, because it's not showing anything. It's showing that emulator settings, that screen only.
Excellent. বলছি যে ইমেল আইডিটা দিয়ে
So you must be getting this kind of screen. Those who are using Haxem, installing Haxem, you must be getting this kind of screen. You can choose 2 GB of RAM or more than that.
Ma'am, I'm using Intel i3 and Haxem is already installed here. It's showing. What should I do
That's
now?
fine.
Here, what shall I install? Here, this one.
Diksha, which screen
I
you
have
are
to download
going
this,
to
right?
showing that emulator setting screen, where that that you need to select the spaces like 2 GB or 4 GB, those
And it's
spaces.
not visible. Means I'm just showing you the appearance and behavior the system
No,
settings.
no, that is not visible.
Just right.
Yes.
That's not visible.
Hmm.
So I'm showing you once again.
Can you explain the virtual device part again, which you were explaining earlier?
Yes, that is what I'm explaining. Device manager, click on virtual, create device, select a device, click on next. According to the recommendation, you can use the arrow top or means arrow above in your keyboard to move on to the different versions. Then you can select download to download that particular version.
Which version do we need to choose?
Any version you can choose S, SV2, or even 33 also you can choose from here.
Which one is preferable for
Which
us?
one is preferable for you people? I will say S. Or you can think about SV2. Because you are in the learning process, so it's SV2 will be fine for you. Then once you do it, like if I click on next, once you select it, then click on next. After installing, downloading that version, it will take time. I'm showing you the process. It will take time. Then you need to click on next. Like in my case, S is already there. It's available. So it's showing that it's already downloaded. So once I click on next, then you will get that AVD name and all those things. Simply you need to click on finish. Once you click on finish, you will get the version available like this. In my case, it's available already. Pixel 2 API 31 is running on that. So in this way, you can get your one. So I hope the process is clear. We will continue it in the next half of our training, which is from 2 o'clock. So in the meantime, let's take a break over here now, and accordingly, we are going to continue in the next half of the training. So in between, those who have not completed the downloading and all, please do complete it before your next session.
Ma'am, it is still showing loading that part.
I guess, Ankon, you are having some network issue. Internet connect kore areba try karo.
I have installed an Haxum. After that, can you just show it that the image that we have to select from there? Means system image.
Yes, system image. Select on next. Then you need to select the version of API that you have done, right? Like Android S or what version of Android you require. Then you need to click on next, select that, click on next. Then finally you will get an option for finish. Click on finish to proceed.
Yeah, ma'am, it's done. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So thank you everyone. Let's end it.
For API 32 is okay.
Yes, fine. API 32 is okay.
Okay, thank you.
You will get the recording of this session once it will be generated, but not at the moment. You will get the recording later on. Okay.
Ma'am, can you share the PPT of the architecture?
Yes, that I will
based on
yes, that I will share with you. Today at the evening, I'm going to share with you in the WhatsApp.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So thank you everyone. Let's end the first half over here.